I'm just kidding. What you say affects others. Actually, on even a deeper level, what you don't say affects others. Your silence impacts people just as much as your words do. And the type of things that you say can make someone live in hell or live in heaven. A great example is, let's say you're wearing a brand new, nice shirt that you love, right? You yourself love the shirt. And you're like, I'm going to wear this shirt today because I love this shirt. I just bought it for me and I want to show it up. I want to flaunt. I want to be, you know? And someone that you think is relatively attractive comes up to you and says, hey, that's a nice shirt. That looks good on you. That looks really good on you. What is this person going to do? The person that bought the shirt. They're going to internalize that and they're going to be like, oh, I should wear this shirt more often. People like it. I mean, they must, because I keep getting so many compliments on this shirt. So I must wear it more often. And you just changed their reality. Why? Because they're going to wear this shirt more often. They're going to wear or change something about them that someone insignificant or with enough face value told them. If, let's say, your family member is looking for support and looking for someone to lean on, and you're like, look, I'm really busy right now, I can't talk to you. You're telling the person that was seeking comfort and seeking validation and seeking connection and exposure and safety with another person, you're telling them that you're not that person to do it with, or that you're not open for it, or that maybe those were the words that they didn't want to hear, and all of a sudden they are depressed for days at a time. It's like, well, if this person that I really care for doesn't want to hear what I have to say and want to actually hear me out, then I guess no one does. Because if the person who's closest to me doesn't want to do that, then why would someone who's a complete and utter stranger want to do that for me? And what does that do? That creates their own hell, their own jail cell where they don't open up anymore and they're not as confident, not as outgoing, expressive. Now let's say, another example is like when you're in a relationship. Oh, I love you. When you tell someone I love you, you don't, like, you of course love that person and you are expressing that person to that person of your love and your feelings. But wouldn't it be nice to hear it as well? Wouldn't it be nice if they said also, I love you? If they also validated your feelings with some sort of other compliment in the same way that you complimented them, saying that this person, you, have evoked feelings in me that no one else could make me feel. How do you feel? And you just repeat that with silence. Or I know, or I like you too. Your words have power and they change another person's reality and situation and experience in every moment of every second. Whatever you say, whatever you do, it constantly changes people's perspective, people's minds, even your own. Let's say in that example of I love you, you don't respond. Now how does that person feel? Even if you didn't mean to, you're still silently expressing and communicating that you may not love them back. And maybe it's just because of your own insecurities that you don't want to be hurt, or you're just too scared or fearful or unsettled at an inner state that, oh, I don't want to say it back. I don't want to seem like I'm too clingy or something, or whatever the thought process is behind you not wanting to say those specific words. that would validate the person's experience for the rest of their day or however long they decide to stay in that feeling. But instead, you decide to not say it for whatever reason. And that person is hurt. You are hurt. Because they didn't say 3 words that would change your value. Now, it's not a separate video, but your value is within yourself, all these other things. But the people that are seeking that outside validation, which is a lot of the society and community that you're in, of the world, you just invalidated them. You just took them off of the high feels that they were feeling. And what does that do with another person? That changes their reality and puts them either in a hell or a heaven or a purgatory or whatever situation and scenario you want to attach it to. Just by simply ignoring somebody, you can change their view or their emotions or their entire day. If you make a compliment to somebody, just randomly, just spreading the positivity. You're like, hey, you there across the street. Yo, you look good today. Who woke you up looking that good today? That person's going to be smiling and thinking about what you said for either that day or the rest of their life. They may not think about it every single day, but when they're sitting in silence just 1 to 2 years later, they're going to be like, I remember that one guy who hyped me up, and you know what? That led me to do this, or that made me feel this way for this amount of time. That changed my attitude and perception of myself, which allowed me to do this that day. Or you could tell someone at work, your eyes are a little bit baggy today. And then you make the other person think, oh my gosh, do I not look good enough? Oh my gosh, do I really look that tired? Oh my gosh, they must notice I didn't put makeup on. I must not have the amount of validation that I need to express so that they don't think that I look a certain way, or that I don't feel a certain way, or that I am a certain way. And it goes all back down to what you say. What you don't say, of course, but more specifically of what you do say. Because a lot of the times, you speak more than you are silent, even though silence has words. So, if you start to make the internal shift, to spread more positivity, to be more aware of what you say, because your mouth, your words hold power. They hold a certain vibration in which everyone receives. And you change it, and you become more aware of your sentences and what you say. It can hurt someone. It can uplift someone. Did I just say that right? Uplift someone. But it all comes down to how you say it, what you say, and your intention behind it. If your intention is to lie about something, be like, oh, you look good today. It doesn't matter if you said it or not. They may feel happy in the moment, but in the end, they're going to think, did that person really mean it? It kind of sounded superficial. It didn't hold the feeling of, you look good today. It just sounded like it. Even if someone is terrible at their job, if you just point out a truth, don't lie. Okay? No one likes to be lied to, and they can feel it a mile away, especially if they know themselves more than what you're saying. Just find the truth within someone and be like, you know what? You're really good at this. I love it. I love that you can do this better than anyone, or I love that you have the power to do this within yourself. It's really motivating to see that you are good at this. You are telling the truth, validating someone else, and elevating their experience. Or you could be the opposite. Be like, you know what? You're terrible at all these things. Why can't you just pick up the pace? Why can't you just be better? get good. That does nothing except tear down somebody. And maybe that's how you want them to feel. But you have the power to do that. And when you realize or understand on a deeper level that everything you say, every word you say from word to word that creates one full sentence has the power to change someone's perception of you and the things that you say and their reality and their expression, their mindset. And you just take more time to speak, to say what you want to say, but in a more thoughtful way. See, if you're in a relationship and you decide to bring up something that is of conflict or something that's bothering you, you could, for an example, let's say my partner constantly puts me down whenever I'm doing something. Now, I can approach it in two ways that I'm going to explain. The first way is you always do this whenever I'm trying to be vulnerable. You never allow me to speak whenever I'm trying to express myself. You always try to hurt me. You always try to do this. You always do that. You are blaming somebody for how you feel when it is your feeling. So you should speak in a different way. And not only are you doing that, but you're also inhibiting communication and expression, because now the other person needs to feel defensive or needs to justify why they acted that way in a specific situation or scenario. Because no one wants to feel like they did something wrong. No one wants to feel like they're in the wrong or that they're the bad guy. Because in their eyes, they only did what they thought was best, or they only thought that what they did wasn't that bad. And if it was that bad to you, then how do you get past the blame game? The scenario in which you hurt someone else's feelings because you were hurt. Well, it's the way you speak about it. In the same situation, you could be using I statements. Use I statements. I feel hurt whenever my feelings are invalidated every time I bring it up. There is no you in that sentence. It is awful, it is fully truth. You're saying the exact same thing to this person, but instead of blaming them for the way that they are, you're explaining your experience of it. And then the person doesn't feel defensive. The person doesn't feel like they need to validate themselves or justify their actions or start an argument just because of what happened. Instead, you focus the shift and the subject of the conversation and topic to, this is how I feel whenever this happens. Not, you do this, it makes me feel this way. Or, whenever you do this, I feel like this because you. Just changing your words, changing the way that you express it, changing the vocabulary of it, the syllables of it, changes your results in conversations, changes your connection with other people. You know, you can tell someone, hey, I hate when you do this. Or you could be, let's say you're really worried about your significant other, let's say a woman, for example, when they dress very attractively or sexy. I don't know if that's the right word to use or even appropriate to use. And what do you say? Are you going out like that? You're not going anywhere looking like that. No. All these boys, blah, blah, blah. What does that do? It invalidates them, the person, your significant other, to not want to dress that way. Why? Because you feel a certain way about it. Or because they need to adjust their actions and behaviors to fit your reality, to fit your mindset, when all they're doing is expressing themselves. And the way, and let's say, for example, in that same situation, they dress that way because it makes them feel validated or secure or, in the same way, sexy and attractive. And you're going to take that away from them because of how you feel about it? Instead, what you could do is use that same scenario, but express it differently. It makes me really insecure when I see you looking as good as you do, and you happen to be going out by yourself alone. And instead of severing the connection or creating a problem, you try to create a solution together. It's like, well, how do I make my partner feel more secure that I'm not going to do anything out of character, or that other people aren't going to be attracted to me in the way that my partner doesn't want? That doesn't mean changing the way you dress. It might be, but it's not. You shouldn't be. But it could just be like saying, okay, well, I have this barrier or this lifeline or this security. Is there anything else that you wish to talk about or that you want to bring up that you're feeling? And just creating this different vocabulary, these different sentences, allows you to be more communicative, more in your power, because what you're doing is being expressive. And expressiveness is so powerful because it allows others to experience the way you're experiencing things. I know I focus mostly on relationships, but that's like the most prevalent that it could be in. Another situation could be for the guy, in let's say a woman-man relationship. The guy goes out every Friday night and drinks or plays gambling games or does something that is not something up to the standard or up to par to how the woman of the relationship would like it to be. Instead of saying, you go out every single Friday night and I never get any attention, or whatever the situation is, pick and choose. You can use different sentences that would create connection and create expressiveness instead of ignorance and confinement and a barrier between you and this person that you're trying to express yourself to. It's the same scenario, but you're getting your thoughts across and you're allowing the other person to understand your perspective instead of just blaming them for thinking that nothing is wrong, when only to you something is wrong. Because if something was wrong to the other person, they would change that, because no one wants to be in the wrong. Everyone thinks what they're doing is right until someone tells them, hey, maybe you're not doing something right. Since the example I used was, we're not going out because you're always out with your friends on Friday nights, and that's the only time that I have off from work, and all you do is spend time with your friends. You can instead, you see how every single sentence was like blaming them for the way you feel, when instead it should be the opposite. Expressing how you feel because of their actions or because of the actions. By separating the situation from the people, you allow it to be both looked at from the same perspective. So instead, you could have been like, or you could be like, I only have times off. My only time off is on Friday evenings. It's the only time that I get to spend with you or get time alone at home. And I would love it if you could take more time, or if we had more time together. Is there any Fridays? Is there any way that you could, even me, see how I'm choosing and picking my words? So this is like a real-time example of your inner thoughts of how you should be expressing yourself. There's a right way to say things and there's a wrong way to say things. There's so many wrong ways to say things because it will get you not the right results. The ones that you actually want will be the right way to say it. So let's go over this again while I'm thinking about this in the moment. This person, I'm trying to explain it as I'm going. So this person that is talking to me doesn't want to hang out with me on Fridays, or makes it seem like all they have is time for their friends. So how do I express to this person that I want more time with them, quality time? Let's see. I feel like we don't have enough time together. The only time that I have off is when you happen to be out with your friends. Is there a way that we can arrange our Friday nights, the only time that I have off, where it's just us? I don't care if you set another day with your friends, but I would love it if we had Fridays to ourselves, or if we went on a date every Friday. or every other Friday, or 2 times a month, or whatever the situation is. And instead of accusing them of being with their friends, or accusing them in any way, making them having to defend themselves instead of understand your perspective and expression, your situation, the way you feel, you blockade them. So I hope that was a good way to understand it. I didn't dive deep into my explanation of how to approach that situation, because it'll be different for everybody. You won't say the exact words that come out of my mouth, and I won't say the exact words that come out of your mouth. It's up to you to interpret the best way to say things, the best way to approach a situation, because I'm not in those scenarios. You are. So it's up to you to decide, well, how do I communicate this? And you may say, well, I don't know how to communicate this. And that's okay. As long as you're trying, you'll get better at it. As long as you're trying to express it, the other person, as long as they're receptive, they'll understand, okay, well, this person is trying to do good, or isn't trying to make me feel bad. They just want what they want. And it's not a bad thing either. Please, if you enjoyed or resonated with this content, like, subscribe, and comment down below. Any comments, I welcome freely. My name is Augustin. This is just for clarity, and thank you for being here.